Hi everyone, this is Micaiah Kaufman with the athlete section. Today we have a special guest who plays tennis for the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Before I let her introduce herself, I also want to add that this is our last episode for season 1, which I'm very excited about. Season 2 is going to have a lot of great things in store. I definitely enjoyed having all my guests in here and having them take the time out to come up here and tell their story. Everybody's been super special and fun to talk to. So yeah, without further ado, we're going to get into it. So I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Mary Grace and I am a freshman on the UNC women's tennis team and I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. Like she said, she's a freshman. She's also a North Carolina native. She's currently in season now, so that's really exciting to have her on here during the season. And yeah, she's living out her dreams of being a Tar Heel, and we're going to get into her story.
Awesome.
So first, I like to start off with asking my guests the beginning of their journey for their sport, and we're going to get into that. But first, I want to know, how is your experience so far at UNC? You're a freshman, you're currently playing, you're adjusting to schedule and classes. How is your first year and current season so far?
Ooh, this is a loaded question. It's honestly been so amazing in so many different ways. I think getting here is definitely like a huge transition from high school, just the time commitment of playing a sport in college and then just balancing that with classes, and then you're meeting so many new people. I think last semester definitely was a lot, and getting like used to the team and the coaches, and like I said, just balancing everything. And then this semester has been really sweet to just come back and also still be meeting people, but have kind of like a set, or not a set friend group, but just people that you can come back to and that they know you a little bit better. And I actually had wrist surgery over Christmas.
Oh my
So
God.
I haven't been competing at all. I'm redshirting this semester and then last semester because I came in with it. So that's definitely, my season has looked a little bit different, because of that. But, yeah, still so many things that I'm grateful for, and just, yeah, the experience has been amazing so far.
Yeah, wow, that is definitely a blessing, but I'm sorry about your wrist. That I didn't know that. That was crazy. Oh my gosh. We're gonna get into that then, because that kind of leads into one of my questions. So I'm gonna keep that in mind. That you said that. Wow. I guess how was that? Like, once you got the wrist, how did you get the wrist surgery? Or how did you get the wrist injury to lead to surgery? And kind of what were your emotions going through that time before kind of being now to like, okay, I'm still grateful. I'm still in a season of thankfulness. I know everything's going to work out for my good. But at that moment, what was going through your mind and what all happened?
So I initially tore it a year ago, last December, and I fell on the tennis court hitting, and then it just it wasn't like an immediate like, oh my goodness, something is like majorly wrong. Because sometimes when you tear a tendon, it's not like breaking a bone. Sometimes as you use it, it gradually like obviously gets way worse. So I was planning on playing a tournament that weekend, and then I like got to the point where I couldn't even tie my shoes, and I was like, something is not right. And so I got it x-rayed. They said I broke it. Ended up getting it MRI'd. It was not broken. I had torn my scaphoid lunate tendon, which is like right here, on the front part of your wrist. And so I'm right-handed, thank goodness. So it's just, I mean, I hit a two-handed backhand, but I'm thankful it is my left. And so I had a cast for like 4-ish months, like splint/cast. They didn't do surgery initially because it was only partially torn. And I recovered. I did OT, PT. I started playing tournaments again in the summer, and that was definitely hard to come back because tennis is very much obviously very like mental, because it's just it's very individual. And so if you haven't been playing matches in a while, sometimes it can be really rough coming back for the first few tournaments. So that was definitely hard. And then my last tournament I played in was in August. It was hard courts in San Diego, and I wasn't really feeling my wrist like it would if I felt like I could play pain free. Sometimes it would be like on and off, like sore, hurt. And then when I got to school, um, the pain definitely increased like a lot. And I played one match. I played a doubles match, and I mean, I like could hardly hit a backhand, and so I got it arthrogrammed, and then that's when they said it was torn again. I don't really know when I retore it, but and then it was just like the whole process of, do I get surgery? Like, do I let it try and like heal again? Because
Right.
if it was fully torn, like I wouldn't have a choice. But because it was like partially again, it was just the whole thing of like, if I get surgery, I might lose like 30% mobility. And one of the surgeons I went to wasn't super optimistic about it.
Mm.
And so it got to the point where I was like, oh, I can't play now. So like if I get surgery and I can't play, then like I couldn't play anyways. So um I prayed a lot about it. My family prayed a lot about it. I definitely had so much peace to do the surgery, and I had it done on December 20th. And then I had like pens, which were not fun, for like a month.
Mm.
Um, and I'm like 3.5 months post-op. And I actually went to the OT like 2 days ago, and they measured like my flexion and extension, and it's gotten to be like 2 degrees off going one way from my right hand, which is like kind of insane because I was definitely supposed to lose at least like 15% mobility in it. So that's like a miracle.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of the whole like gist of kind of the process. It's definitely been like a long, like I feel like it's been like 18 months.
Mhm.
But um yeah, lots of things I've learned, and also just being able to trust that the Lord is in control of um yeah, my story, and what he has in store for me in the future, and my wrists, and nothing I can do can mess up his plan for my life. So
Amen.
yeah.
There you go. Wow, that's a lot. That's a loaded
Yes.
journey in such a short period of time. That was December. Now we're almost in
Yeah.
April next week. That is wow. Oh my God. And then for it to be your freshman year, that is a lot to kind of go through. A lot of ups and downs, emotions, just all in one semester packed in. Or not even one semester, like the end of the semester just
Yeah.
packed in. Um, so and then my question was going to be, what were some challenges that brought you to some tough lessons in life that you learned through your sport that you apply now? Would you say that was one of your most challenging moments, or were there other moments that kind of like taught you lessons that you had to start applying in your life for, I guess, your overall well being?
Yeah. I feel like tennis has had me or taught me a lot of lessons, but definitely I've been injured not just one time. So in high school I had like a back injury, and then something right after I committed. So I feel like every time that I'm injured, it's just like, okay, what is Lord trying to teach me? And then I feel like it's been so cool because you feel his presence so much closer when things aren't going well. And I feel like you can see so much more, like, okay, there's so much purpose in the pain. And like there's a song lyric, it's like, if more of you means less of me, like take everything. And that's
Mm.
something that I've had to like, obviously that's hard to pray and just like I guess think through, but that's been such a, yeah, just thing that I've continually journaled. But anyways, I also, when I committed, I had I didn't I didn't start playing great after I committed, and there's definitely a lot of pressure going to UNC, and how good of a tennis school they were when I committed. And so um I guess one of the main lessons I would probably say I learned from senior year of high school coming into college was just like, um, who am I like actually playing for? And like, if I'm on the court and I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't lose this match because I'm going to Carolina, like, um, am I playing for everyone else's like approval, or am I playing for like an audience of one? And it it definitely freed me up so much, like realizing, okay, my identity isn't in my tennis, and nothing I accomplish here, like I'm even gonna take it to heaven. So like I I don't know, it frees you up to play without a fear of failure, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah.
But that was like, I mean, people can say that to you all day long, like in high school and like books you read and things you hear, but like to actually have to walk through that and be like,
Mhm.
I have to put my faith in something bigger than my wins and my losses, or I'm gonna always feel disappointed. Um, was one of like the biggest lessons that I've learned, and then I've definitely been able to take that into college and into like this injury. Yeah, I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. That was wonderful. And you're right. Like when things like that happen, things don't go our way. It does bring us closer to God. Just he wants to kind of, I wouldn't say that was it's the main thing to get our attention, but it's definitely a way where we're able to kind of draw near to him, instead of just
Hmm.
kind of pulling away from him. And like you said, when we're going through things like that, injuries or even just like playing for a certain purpose, it's like, what is my actual end goal destination? What is my actual purpose for playing? Is it for, like you said, the approval of the people around me on this earth? Or is it for God kind of just bringing glory to him, showing him that my talent,
Hmm.
showing his talent that he instilled in me to play for him? So I really like how you worded that. That was definitely, and especially for you to figure that out your senior year of high school. Technical difficulties, guys. Um, but yes, playing for audience of one, and then also figuring all of that out your senior year slash freshman year of college is very great solid foundation to kind of go into college with that mindset, already kind of knowing who you're serving at the end and who this is all for, who's giving you the talent. And yeah, so I think that's a really amazing feat that you've accomplished. And I know you're going to do really well with that mindset going into it furthermore. It's definitely hard. Easier said than done. I can literally just say to you, "Oh, you'll be fine. Just trust in the Lord." And then I'll go do something similar and be like, "Oh my gosh, what's going on,
Yeah.
God?" But yeah, no, I definitely like your mindset in it, and it's definitely something that you can bring with you through life as well. It's not easy, but it's definitely worth it in the end because He has a bigger plan and purpose for your life. So, yeah.
Yes, 1000%.
So on a happier note, I'm glad we did start with that because I did not know that you were redshirting this semester, and that kind of like led into a lot of other things to unpack. So I'm really glad we started with that. But what was the beginning of tennis for you? How did it all start? How was you introduced to the sport? And yeah.
So my mom played tennis growing up with her family. Like my grandfather played at Davidson, and then some of her siblings played at JMU. And so it was something that she, I guess, introduced my sister and I to. I guess my brothers too, but they ended up picking like basketball, baseball.
Nice.
But I had my first tennis racket at like 2, and she says that I like hit the ball against the garage when I was like 2 or 3, which I don't really know how so simple, but probably like 4 or 5. But my first clinic was when I think I was like 5, and I actually bawled my eyes out like going to clinic because I was like, I don't want to do this, and this is so scary. But I'm so glad that my mom was like, no, this is good for you. Um,
Built character.
yeah, she's like, I don't care, you're going. That's not how she handled other things, but it was just funny that, yeah, I was kind of a wreck before. But anyways, I started playing tennis when, yeah, for clinics, and then, I guess 5 and 6, I think I started having like lessons. And then it wasn't until I was 8 years old that I started playing tournaments. Um, I feel like tennis is kind of a unique sport that you have to like start playing when you're, pretty young to be able to play college tennis. Because it's just like so much technique and hit millions of balls. Um, so I started playing, yeah, tournaments when I was 8, and then did like 12s, 14s, 16s, 18s. I traveled to a bunch of USTA tournaments. It started like with state level, and then you play like in your section, and then it's like national tournaments. Um, and definitely I had 3 like main coaches out of Asheville that, I definitely wouldn't be where I am today, like without them, because, um, yeah, having a really good coach in tennis is very important, because you can obviously develop like bad habits that prevent you from being able to like continue to get better. And so it's just like cool how like God has placed like different people in my life for me to be able to be where I am today. And yeah, I'm trying to think what else how I who my sister also plays. She's going to Wake Forest. She's a junior in
Okay.
high school. Yes.
Nice. Look at y'all.
Um yeah, yeah, she's so good, and it's been so sweet to just like grow up playing with her. And um yeah, we're really, really close. I'm sad she's not coming here, but it's only like an hour and a half away. So
Yeah, y'all can go visit each
um
other's campuses and
yeah,
hit a
exactly.
field. That'd be so
Combined
fun.
friends.
Right.
Yes. But yeah, that's been really sweet. And then all the tournaments we went to, I feel like I got to be closer to my parents just with long drives and lots of conversations. So yeah.
Wow, that's really neat. I love hearing people's origin story for their sport and then kind of seeing where they end up now and just a higher level. No, tennis is definitely a very unique sport. I tried to pick it up with my mom. We took some tennis lessons. I think I was around 14 or 15. And I thought it was way more difficult than I thought it was. I was like, oh, I can just hit it across the net, make sure you keep it
Yeah.
in the line. I played volleyball. So I was like, okay, it's basically the same things with a racket and a smaller ball and a
That's so
lower
funny.
net. But it definitely was not. And I was like, you know what? Maybe this isn't my sport. I I really walked in thinking I was gonna be like the best. Like, oh, you gotta put her in tournaments immediately, but that was not the
That's
case.
so funny. I know
um,
sometimes I'll like look back at videos and I was just like, wow. The fact that I thought I was so good then, but like that's how many balls you have to hit to even like be able to play a point or like
yeah,
yeah, I mean it's just like crazy. I teach a lot of tennis to like it's like 4 to 6 year olds.
yeah,
And like adding in the like you can stand there and hit a ball, but then you have to add in the movement and then like the
mm,
spin and then like where are you gonna put the
yes,
ball?
control. Oh my
Um
gosh,
yeah,
I didn't
so many factors and then like the wind, the sun, like all of those things coming in. So
a
it
lot.
definitely makes it to be interesting, but that's kind of why I love it because it's every point is different. It's yeah, so like unique and it's really cool to be on the court and have to like figure out how like a way to win even when you're not playing
Yeah,
well. Like the
yeah,
coach can't sub you out. Like you're out
it's
there
very
for
mental. Oh my gosh.
yeah, you're out there for like 2 or 3 hours. We played NC State on Sunday and our match literally lasted 4 hours. I don't know how
Oh
the
my
fans
gosh.
like some of the fans like stayed the entire time.
Wow.
And college tennis is no ad, so if you had ad in there, it would have made it even longer. Which is just crazy. So
Yeah.
anyways, that
Wow.
was a
No,
side note.
yeah. Tennis is very, you're my first tennis player that I have on the podcast. And when I found you, I'm going to tell you how I found you actually. But when I found you, I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be really great. We haven't had a tennis person on here. I try to get a variety of different sports and target certain people based off what I find. We're going to get into that. But I do want to ask before I forget, since you also teach tennis, what were some things in the beginning of tennis that you found very difficult versus now? And I guess where beginners will find difficult in general versus like how you see it now.
Oh, let's see. I'm trying to remember even when I was like learning.
That's such a long time to get on.
Oh, yeah. I think like serving is so hard, like to learn because of like your toss and then even like teaching, I feel like it's like the hardest to teach because now I hit a serve, I'm like, I mean, it's just like feels so natural, but when you're learning, it's like, okay, toss the ball up and then like have your racket come back, and you have to be in like a trophy position and like put your elbow up. So there's so many little things, and I think serving and then for me, I feel like it was always like my backhand that needed work, which is so funny because so many people are like, "Your backhand's so easy, you just go like this and hit it." And I'm like, "Okay, well, my
Well,
forehand's
no.
always been the one that's better." Yeah, like it's a little more complicated. And then you said what's like maybe most difficult now? Is
Yeah,
that
like
okay?
what? Well, you mentioned like yeah from the beginning, but then what now do you see like oh yeah that was that, but this is like a whole different beast.
Yeah, I would say like taking the ball early,
Mhm.
and I played so many points like behind the like way behind the baseline when I was in like 12s, 14s. And then in high school one of the coaches I had was just like teaching me to be like a more aggressive player,
Mhm.
and you can like hear them say all these things and you're just like my body's not doing what my brain is telling it to do.
Right.
And like it's so much harder than it looks and then it seems and how he explains. So even today in practice he was like do not back up, and it's definitely not so much like form and technique, but um, how are you going to get to the ball like efficiently, and in what ways are you going to make your opponent uncomfortable, whether that's like slicing, hitting heavy balls, like variety, changing it up. So like
Mhm.
when you're little, you're like, okay, I have to hit it over the net. But the challenge is now is like, okay, if they hit this ball, like what am I going to do with that? Or like,
Mm.
if I play certain types of players, meaning like if they're more defensive, they just make a lot of balls, or like college tennis people are very aggressive. And so it's like, how are my strengths going to match up and try and penetrate like their weaknesses, I guess. Which
Mm.
is cool to have coaches on the court because that's not how junior tennis was. Like there was no coaching. And so sometimes even like in practice, I'm listening to my coaches and they just have like so much wisdom. I feel like I can learn so much from them. Um, but yeah, definitely the taking the ball on the rise, out of the air, your net game, all of those things. Cutting off the ball, like not running, I guess horizontally, like cutting it off like diagonally.
Yeah.
Um, things that seem so simple, but when you're like putting them in a point and in a situation, they're so difficult.
Yeah, it's like a lot that has to be kind of added together at once. That's wow. A lot of
Yeah,
mechanics.
sorry, that was like a lot of tennis
No,
language,
no,
but
no, that was perfect because it made me kind of like envision it all. Like, oh my gosh, like it's not just a hit across the net, you're good to go. You have to find out like, okay, what area should I hit it? If they return it
hmm
this way, how I receive it this like that's a lot to kind
right,
of,
right, right.
but I'm envisioning it as you're saying. I'm like, wow, that is very interesting. I'm glad I did
Yeah,
not pick up that
yeah.
sport.
Yeah. Well, like if you're like 10 feet behind the baseline, why would you be hitting it flat? You know, like
Oh
just
my
like
gosh.
decision making has to be
Yeah.
like, yeah. And it's just so funny because obviously I couldn't play any points. So I got surgery and then like a month after surgery, they were worried I was going to fall. So I could only walk. Like I couldn't scooter to class. I
Oh
couldn't
my,
like run. I just like had to
no.
walk. I know. And so then once I started playing points again, this was like a couple weeks ago. I mean, I had like one of the worst decisions like ever in one of my points, and my coach was like, "What is that?" And my coach, like, I'm like remembering how to play tennis again. I'm
Yeah, I'm
sorry.
just trying to relearn,
Yeah,
okay?
literally, give me a break. It's been like a hot minute since I've even
Yeah.
like stepped on a court and played a point. So,
Wow.
it's just been funny, but it's cool how like it slowly does. It does come back, but you're still like, oh my word, like what was that shot?
Yeah,
So
like
definitely
what just
like lots of
happened?
grace. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
give myself a lot of grace, but yeah, it's all okay. It's pretty fun though.
Wow. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna say. That's why I feel like it's so rewarding for every sport, but definitely for tennis. Like, I think people, or at least me, I thought it was like a lot easier, but I see the reward in it. Like, it's so much more difficult, but fun once you put it all together and kind of get everything combined towards the end. Once you kind of like accomplish, win a set, win a game, win a match. So it's like, wow, that's very. They work very hard to get to where they are. So. That sounds like such a rewarding process to go through.
Yes.
But yeah, so how I found you. So I follow Sports Spectrum for their podcast as well. And I
Oh
saw
wait, that's
that,
so sweet.
yeah. And I saw that you went to Passion City in Atlanta or Passion
Yes,
Church.
Passion Conference.
Passion Conference, yes, in Atlanta.
hmm
And they tagged a bunch of people, and I just randomly tapped in yours. I was like, let me reach out to her and see if she wanted to be on a podcast.
Oh, that's
And
so sweet.
that's literally how I found you. But yeah, so we're here now.
Yeah, so like I went with to Passion Conference with a girl on the field hockey team. Her name's Katie Dixon. She now is like in Charlotte with Team USA. She's like gonna go to the Olympics in 2028. It's crazy.
Oh my god.
But she like discipled me all of last year. Field hockey at UNC is crazy, crazy good. But and then I also went with this girl named Maddie Hecker, and she um had to medically retire from track and field, but she was a runner and like your brother at UGA.
Yeah.
And she actually leads Tuesday night worship, which is every Tuesday night. It's like all UNC students just gather from like 9 to 9:45, and we just sing like worship music. It's amazing.
Wow. That's so special.
Yes.
That's so just calming and peaceful. Like that, we need that in our
Yes.
life, moments like
Yes,
that.
definitely. It's been so
Wow,
sweet.
that's
The
so
community here is
special.
so cool.
Yeah, I bet. That sounds so sweet and just I don't know. It's the word I'm looking for. I can't think of it, but yeah, that sounds really amazing. I love that. How would you recommend Passion Conference? Would you go again? How was your overall experience?
Yeah, Passion is amazing. I went last year too. So that was 2024. Yeah, because I have to like remember that it's like in
I
January. It
know I
starts in
have to.
January. I'm like,
Same,
wait, that
same.
was December. But yeah, so I went with some of my high school friends last year, and it was in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And it was like insane just to be standing there with like 60,000 other people, like all college students. It's like 18 to 25 years old. Um, yeah, singing and just like being like, wow, this is just like a glimpse of heaven. It just like puts everything into perspective. And then the speakers that they bring in, it's like Tim Tebow, like Sadie Robertson, um, JP, like just a lot of people that have just amazing messages for the seasons of life that college students are in. And so it's super, super encouraging and definitely gets you very much on fire for the Lord, like starting your year. And then the one I went to this past year was in State Farm Arena, so it was a little bit smaller.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly like this one a little bit better. The speakers were also just like so good. They kind of bring back like the same ones every year. But yeah, just the people I went with and then the time it was like 10 days after my surgery. And so it was a really good just like reminder and to put everything back into perspective. Um, yeah. So anyways, it's amazing. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I definitely
It's
want
like
to
two and
go.
a half days.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so amazing. So
Wow, that sounds so amazing. I'm really glad that you went and enjoyed yourself. And it definitely does sound like a really great opportunity to go and just praise the Lord and be around people who are like minded, want to do the same thing. So I do want to go check it out for sure. So I'm gonna definitely look into that. I forgot it was in January. I think by the time it happened, I had forgotten it was already happening. So I was like, okay, next year. I
yes,
got to
next
next year.
year.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow, that'd be nice. I wish they had ones throughout the year though, like okay,
I
January maybe one in the
know.
summer and then one at the end maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be so amazing.
Yes. But wow. So we're down to our last few minutes, and last few questions. This time has gone by so fast, but I've been enjoying it. Been enjoying talking to you and hearing your story. So it's
I
been
know,
fun.
me too. It's gone by so fast.
I know. So tell me, what was your favorite moment thus far in the midst of all the chaos going on in your life and having the surgery and all of that? Your dream was to play at UNC. So I guess I do want to start with that. What kind of brought on that dream and what has kind of exceeded your expectations and have been your favorite moments so far? Sorry, that's a lot of questions in one,
Yeah,
but
that's a lot. I'm like, remember.
we can do one at a
um,
time. I guess what was your what started that dream to play at UNC?
so when I was 8 years old, actually, I told my dad that I wanted to play tennis at UNC, which is kind of crazy. And it was because two of my brothers came here just as students,
Hmm.
um, and I guess like for the longest time, I was like, I don't know if this is like very realistic. Like it was the time between like 8 and like 13, and then I had a coach who started coaching me during COVID because he was in town. He coaches on the pro tour. And we kind of, I mean, I stood there and I was like, hey, like, is this like a realistic goal? Like, for this to be like my dream? And he was like, yeah, like, why would you stop there? And it was so cool because I was like, wow, like, that's actually someone who believes in me.
Yeah.
Um, and obviously, he wasn't saying like it wasn't going to take so much work and so much sacrifice. But for him to see that in me and then just be like, oh, did you hear that? Hopefully you didn't. The
Yes.
message just came on. I'm so sorry. Okay,
No, you're
perfect.
getting
Sorry.
it. Oh wow.
But love that. Anyways, so yeah, that's how like the dream started, and then yeah, definitely when I committed, definitely very very surreal, and just um, even since like getting here, everyone talks about like the culture of UNC tennis and how Coach Calbus and all of the coaches just like develop that. Like we have team meetings after um, like almost every match, and it's very much like we had one today. It's very much like open to everyone to talk about how they think that we can improve. And it's not just like the coach like telling you all these things. Like he definitely has standards and expectations, but um, you can tell that he cares so much about us and about making us better, and he'll do anything he can to help us be the best version of ourselves, like on and off the court. So that's been like really, really cool. Um, just to like step into and be a part of. Um, and then I feel like even the moments of like playing like our first match at home, and like even playing NC State on Sunday and stepping on the court and being like, wow, this is something like I dreamed about since I was a little kid. And even though I can't play right now, just like being able to cheer my teammates on, and get super hyped with different shots that they hit. And then like rushing the court after different wins. Those have definitely been like my favorite moments. Cause even in like, the matches that I'm not playing, I feel like I'm like playing every point with them.
Yeah.
And I feel like this season we've gotten so much closer just because of, I guess the ups and downs that we've gone through, and then spring break and, yeah, all the time spent in the locker room. So it's been really, really sweet.
Wow, that's such a blessing. And that blessed me to hear that. And yeah, I know a lot of athletes who are going through the same thing. My brother even went through the same thing, had injury and had to kind of sit out for a minute, but still had to learn the importance of camaraderie with the team and just kind of cheering them on and still being a part of it with them. It may not be you out there running with them, but you're still a part of the team. So it's all of you. When one person wins, you all win, you know? So and it's just
Yeah.
kind of giving God that opening to bless you even further, being happy for others, and just kind of pouring into their life, and He pours into yours. So it is definitely a special moment and special story to hear when people are going through that, but then can still find a joy and blessing through it all. So I love hearing that.
Yeah, and it's been so cool because even this past semester, I've gotten sent the song so many times. I think there's such a reason for why I've gotten sent this song, but it's like Jireh by Maverick City, and it's like, and I will
Mm,
be content in every circumstance
yeah.
because you're Lord. And I'm like, wow, that is so just, yeah, such like what I need to hear right now, to be,
Mhm.
where my feet are in this season, and making the most of it, and yeah, being like, I have a purpose even when I'm not playing.
There you go.
And it's to be a light on my team, and to lead with like joy every day in practice, and just working hard and pushing everyone else, because even though you can't play, you can still push them to be their best too.
Amen to that. That's so true. I love that. So, do you have a favorite tennis player who's inspired you, or favorite athlete in general?
Athlete in general. I really love Sydney McLaughlin.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, I've read her book, Far Beyond Gold. It's really, really
Yeah,
good.
I need to get that book.
Um,
It's been on my TBR list for a minute now. I still haven't gotten it.
oh, yes. And then obviously Roger Federer, has definitely been my favorite tennis player to watch. Sadly
Really?
he's retired, but,
Yeah.
definitely just like always so classy, and yeah, the way he plays tennis and what he does off the court. Yeah, I love. And then Caroline Wozniacki is also one of my favorite tennis players. She has been world number one. She's now married to David Lee, who is like an NBA basketball player on like the Golden
Yeah.
State Warriors and the Celtics, I
Wow.
think. But yeah, that's definitely, I have like a similar game style to her.
Yeah.
So ever since I grew up, people be like, "Oh, like you kind of look like her, like how you play, and like blonde hair." So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's definitely been like those two people, I would say. And then I also right now love watching like Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz. I think
Okay.
just the way that they play is insane. So
Wow, you have a very diverse pool there. That's a lot
yeah,
of
I'm
people to
sorry, that
like.
was not
No,
one.
no, that's good. No, that's good. Like I like because you're able to kind of like model after them in different aspects in different ways and look up to them for different reasons. So it's nice to see that you have like a really vast like majority of people to kind of choose from. So that's really nice. That's me. Like when people ask me for my favorite athlete, I'm like, see, I don't know. I feel like I like the ones that I like who hold as my favorite. I like them for different reasons. I don't know if I can even say
Right.
they're like, you know. So that's why I
hmm
like also hearing that too, where it's like you have multiple favorites. You can that can be true as well. So,
Yes, ma'am.
all right, we're down to our last question. If you could give a piece of advice to someone who has been through or will go through what you've been through, what will it be?
Oh, that's so
It's a
tough.
hard one for everybody. Everyone's like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh, no.
that's so tough. Um, I would say that something that my mom told me that relates to me being a believer, but also I think you can like translate it to someone who doesn't have a faith. Is she looked at me one time and she was like, "Is he sovereign or is he not? If you're gonna believe that he is, like this plan for your life, like nothing that you can do will mess it up."
Mhm.
And I would say that to someone who doesn't believe in God or doesn't have a relationship with Jesus is like, um, the road that you're on, like there is a purpose to it. And looking back, like obviously when I'm going through things that are so hard, it's hard to, I guess, be thankful, but like we wouldn't be able to appreciate the good days if there weren't any bad days.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't know, looking back and you can just see like, wow, like either this is what I learned or like this is um, my story to now be able to impact other people in the future that like may go through a similar thing.
Mhm.
Because I think our ability to relate to people comes down to like where we've been hurt. Because if you're telling someone something and they're like, I mean, how do you even understand
Yeah,
me?
how do you know?
Yeah, how do you know? And so I think that's one way I've been like, wow, I can be really thankful for the things that I have gone through because life isn't perfect.
Mhm.
But there's so much good that can come out of when you feel like you're at your lowest point because like you don't live life mountaintop to mountaintop. But honestly, like the Lord's presence in my life has made me so joyful when I'm in the valleys. Um, so yeah, I would just say my piece of, I guess, advice is um, there is purpose in the pain and there is a plan despite yeah, everything you feel like maybe messed you up for the future. And everything hasn't gone the way that I maybe wanted to or hoped it would. But I know even like 10 years from now, I'm going to look back and be like, wow, the season that I'm in right now has prepared me so much to where I am today.
Exactly. And even the Bible says that God will give you back the days that you feel like were wasted, the days you feel like you lost. So even though
Mm-hmm.
you're thinking, oh, I'm stagnant, I'm not doing enough, or all this time I could have been doing this, God will, He'll replenish back those. Don't worry. He'll like bless you even further in that season. So you don't have to worry about feeling like I missed out or I haven't done this. Like God, like you said, it's not linear. God's plan is definitely still really prevalent in your life. And even though we
Mm-hmm.
have plans and have like a mapped out version of how things should go, like He has the journey set for you. So it's going to be even better and bigger than you've ever imagined. And that's definitely a really great life lesson to take on. So thank you for that as well.
Yeah. And I feel like even talking to people who, like someone who like discipled me in high school and she went through cancer and she's like, obviously I would never wish that to happen again. But she was like, I also am so grateful for all of it. And I think that's such a cool, to be on the other side and be able to have so much hope in that.
Hmm.
It's so cool and like definitely the way that, um, yeah, I would love to look at life and, yeah, in that way.
Yeah. Wow. That is beautiful. I really enjoyed that. Wow. That was the end of our conversation. Where can people find you on social media?
I think my Instagram is at mg.renard.
I think that's what I
Yes.
remember seeing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool beans.
Yes, yes,
Nice.
yes. Or UNC women's tennis.
There we go. There we go. You find her on there. Find her on the court very soon. Hear her story. This was very amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time to come in here and speak with me. I know you're busy. I know this semester is like ramping up, but I really did enjoy this conversation and think this was a great highlight to end the season off with your interview. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. This was
Of
so awesome.
course.